Hello, everyone. I think we're live. Looks like it. I'm waiting for the video to catch up with me. You're seeing me a minute ago, so okay. So, welcome everybody. This is Akasha, and today we're going to do one of my favorite things, which is a Q&A basically, and I'm calling this new version Ask Anything. So I've had a podcast and done online calls for a long time, probably 14 years maybe. And the first time that this became a popular thing to do, I called it Ask Nan. And then I was working so much with people and their Money Muse, which we call it, that energy that you want to align with around money and wealth and opportunity and value for yourself and worthiness and willingness to receive. These are the most important things. My hair is driving me nuts right here. There we go. And so I called it Ask Your Money Muse. And this time it kept coming to me to start to do this again. So we're going to do this every month. And whatever this is this the last? No, this is the third Thursday. So maybe we'll keep it on the third Thursday. We'll see. This is the first one. So you want to just go to nanakasha.com. I think we have a link. Well, shop.nanakasha.com will show you everything we've got, and if you go to just nanakasha.com, you can get on the list in that way, or if you subscribe to the channel here and you click some little bell thing, it gives you notifications when I go live, so either way you'll be able to know when we're going to do this. All right, so the next thing is yes, you can. A lot of people responded to our email and said, can I give you a question in advance because I'm not going to be able to be there live? And yes, you can. So I'm going to tune in. We're going to all get clear and present, and then we're going to flow. And what's fun about these things is that everybody gets answers. So like if you've been on one of my soul readings, this is a little different than that. However, it's best if you ask a question. Whereas with the soul reading, you could say, oh, I'm having these dramas in my life, and then we can go in. But the soul reading is really going to show us a lot of deep symbology and blocks. And not that any of that may not come up. So the key to this is if you've ever listened to or been to, I don't know if they do them anymore, she does them anymore, but Abraham Hicks, or Abraham Now, I think she's calling it, Esther Hicks. It's a little bit similar, where somebody comes on what they call the hot seat, they ask a question, and then she channels an answer that is towards their answer, but really is for everybody. So if you're like me, I spent many, many years, I used to subscribe to their CD of the month or something, or CD of the week, I think they even used to do it. And I would listen to them nonstop while I was going through my divorce, because it was empowering, because it was positive, right? Because everything in there, regardless of whether it was an answer for me, was a clue to the way the world works, the way that abundance works, the way that we work, the way that everything operates. So that's the fun. That's the excitement about this is going to open up. What you ask me is going to give me an opportunity to see things in a new way, to feel things in a new way. And it's going to give all of us an opportunity to clear ourselves so we can receive a higher level of information. I'm new to having glasses. I did wear reading glasses, but I'm having a little blob on here. So I want clear vision. So the key here is that you're open and receptive, that you're here present, so that if you're listening later, and I hope you do, go for a walk. I used to walk and do all kinds of things while I would re-listen to Abraham Hicks. I'll tell you something really funny. My children, I have twins, so I would get in bed with them when they were little. Between them, we pushed the beds together, and I would sing, and then I'm a hypnotherapist as well as a shamanic healer, and so on and so forth. So I would talk them into sleep with positive things, and I would sing beautiful spiritual songs and chants to them. And then I would get up and I would put on a CD. And I had all these Abraham Hicks CDs. And so when they were little and they didn't know any different and they were already pretty much asleep, I would put an Abraham Hicks CD, and it would run, probably an hour, I guess. So what I knew was they were getting that positive programming. They were getting that better that they were asleep. So if you have kids, you can do that. And it's really funny because I did that for years. At one point, I had the book, Who Moved My Cheese? If you guys know that one. It's a business parable book kind of about life. And it's basically these mice that show up every day in a maze and there's a pile of food, but then it disappears. It stops coming. There's no more new food. And some of them want to stay and one wants to go. And the ones that want to stay say, but no, we know that there's going to be food. We're going to wait for the food. It's always been that way. We don't want to change. It's too scary to go out there. And the other one said, but we've got to go. We've got to go find food. We've got to go somewhere new. And finally, he leaves them and goes out on his own. So you can see all of the beautiful messages in it. So I started to play that for them. And they would ask for it. They'd say, Mom, play the cheese, play the cheese. So you can do this for yourself too. So my clients ask me when they should repeat the sessions that we do together. And you can repeat them to take notes, but you can repeat the process and go deeper. So yes, it's nice if you're awake and you're laying somewhere and you're conscious of what's happening. You'll have a new experience. You'll go deeper. Or it's also fine to do it as you're going to sleep. So as you're going to sleep and as you're waking up are really special moments when we're traveling through the ethers. We're moving in and out of different states or dimensions, time structures, however you want to put it, back into this now moment, this body in this now moment, because your body was in a moment ago and a moment before that and a moment before that. So you're moving in a time-space continuum that appears like linear time. But the reality is everything already exists. So when you go have a dream or you remember a past life, it's really a parallel life. It's a simultaneous life. It's another life. However, if it's in medieval times, for us, it's easier to think about it as a past life because historically, in our linear life that we're living, that is in the past. So, excuse me. So, I don't remember what I was saying. So we're moving in this time-space continuum and we each have our own energy. Oh yeah, so when you're coming back in or you're leaving to go to sleep, you're in this beautiful, delicious twilight state, one of my clients calls it. And it's very exciting because many clients that come to me, they either can or used to, can a little bit or can't at all, or used to be able to receive messages from nature or their higher self or angels, or feel more connected or feel like they were in that synchronistic flow where there was a communication going on. So we've come to the point where we realize that miracles and synchronicities aren't these unique, weird little things that happen sometimes to some people. It's literally a form of communication. It's if you let it in and you pay attention to it, woohoo! That's one tiny little bit of information you've let in from the massive amounts of information that's right here, ready right now for you. So when we perceive lack, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough energy, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough support, I don't have enough whatever, okay? It's a lie because you're looking right here at what you can see and what you know in your tiny, teeny conscious mind. However, if we lift our heads up, right, energetically, and we begin to look up and out with our inner eye, we begin to perceive more, and we start to trust and honor our intuition, our feminine principle as much as our masculine principle, because we have to come back into balance if we truly want to create, and if we want to create something different than what is right now. So we're all craving something different, not just different than the pandemic, but the pandemic and everything else that's happening, all this craziness that's happening within us and on the planet is simply a breaking down of an old paradigm that can't exist anymore, and we know it inside of us. Nobody wants to slog through their life hoping they make it to 90, but all this drama in between, and pills and sickness and fear and debt, and I mean, it's ridiculous, right? So if you do communicate, if you do have a way of, like I've had clients who say, oh, I get the shiver down my back, and I've learned that means that's truth, right? And so you may get forms of communication like that, where you feel something in your body, or you see a color, or you get a taste. Remember, the few senses that you currently tune into are very few out of what you have. You have 360 senses. So this is what we're doing. We're like breaking out of an old shell And we have to let it all go. Traditions and who we thought we were and who we thought other people were and what we think people should have done and failures and successes and everything. Because ego is a third dimensional concept. It doesn't make sense when you realize that you are infinite, that you have access to these infinite timelines, these infinite possibilities, skills from other lives that you already acquired, pains and fears from other lives that you've already acquired, and you know because you brought them into this life. So if you are seeking to feel more, to increase your capacity, I'm always seeking to increase my capacity. And I'll tell you the things that have catapulted my senses, right? My awakening, my ability to receive information and see energies and do the things that I do now has been a progression. And the hardest things in my life, like last year dying and my daughter dying many years ago and losing everything in my divorce and all these different huge, massive breakdowns are always the thing that you can see where you transformed the most. And it's because you get broken out of your past. So that's what's happening to us collectively right now. So I'm sure it's happening within your life. It may be certain areas, or you may be coming to the point where you're like, I just want something new, or you're overwhelmed with what you're doing, or you feel trapped. So the time when you're going to sleep and the time when you're waking up is a beautiful moment to really access those energies. So one of my clients who's been trying for years and years and years to perceive this, right? To be able to hear and see colors or visions or symbols or the different things that you hear other people talk about is this is when she's started doing it. Is if she does a meditation or something and then she's going into that twilight state to go to sleep, or when she wakes up, if she stays quietly in that space, she'll start seeing tunnels and timelines and symbols and sacred geometry and lights and colors and things like this. So the important thing is that we respect it, right? That we respect this information coming in and we learn to decipher it and filter it. All right, so what we're going to do to make sure that we all receive clearly is before the call, before everything I do, I always cleanse and clear my light body. I activate my light body. I connect to my council, who I call the Light Body Council. I connect to my higher self, my I Am Presence, and my body elemental. These are subtle parts of me that know more about me and my purpose, the bigger me, and my soul that I came from. So all of your lives come from a soul, which is a part of source. Okay, that's the simplest way to think about it. So you are source, we're all connected, yes, but you came to be an individual soul. And within that soul, you said, hey, let's have one person who does this and have another person who does that and another person who's that, and then you all go out. So right here in this moment, you are you. I am being Akasha. My conscious focus is on Akasha. And yet the reality is that my higher self knows much more about me. It knows more of my blueprint and my purpose. And it's watching and trying to navigate to get through to me, to help guide. We're never sent here alone without guidance. So if you clear and cleanse every day, if you start to tune in that you're in a sacred space together with me right now, and that you are ready and willing to receive. That's a really important word. So say that. I'm ready and willing to receive that which is optimal for me at this time. Take a deep breath in. And I'm ready and willing to be aligned with my highest good self. When you let that breath go, let it wash the energy out of your body, mind, and emotions into Gaia. She loves it. And allow yourself to kind of let go, sort of slump over and relax. Okay? Good. Now move your body a little bit around. Move your spine. Twist it if you can. And your hips. And come into your body. And then I want you to rub your hands together and to see and feel your palm portals. We call these. These are very important chakras. Just feel them together and say in your heart or out loud, I activate my light body at optimal speed for me at this time. Take a deep breath in 3, 2, 1. Blow it out. And open your hands up, up and out. You can put them way up, but I want you to see what I'm doing. Wait, okay. And feel everything that does not align you with your highest good, your soul signature frequency, your purpose, your optimal conscious state, this moment, flying out of you. Okay, good. Put your hands on your heart and say, I am open and receptive to the guidance and the communication, the release and the healing and the revelations and the renewal that are optimal for me at this time. Just sit in the silence and feel that intention moving through. Good. And just allow your awareness and senses to reach out from you and recognize that we give great thanks to the infinity healing chamber that we are within. Above and below you is an enormous cone of gold and silver light. And you are inside of that, wrapped in the all-seeing eye, right here, our beloved Wajet, giving you connection to all that is, was, will be, all you would need to solve a problem, all you would need to release yourself, to move forward, step into your purpose, to be more of who you came here. And all around us is a beautiful sphere of the flower of life. And you are standing within it. This chamber is within it. And take a deep breath in and say, I activate myself to infinity and enter the infinity healing chamber. That's an intentional breath that you send out that message you've just declared, and it goes out through your cells and your DNA, your blood, your bone, your brains, through your chakras and subtle bodies, through your mind, your emotions, and now out into your environment. Changing your space. All right. So I want to connect you also with my beautiful friends here. Give me a minute. I hope this will mute me. All right. So I communicate with everything. And I started as a child with fairies and all kinds of different beings I talk to constantly, and nature, spirits, and animals. Then when I came back around and had my first big breakdown, I began to work with animals. I had a pet sitting business, so I rarely saw humans, which was very nice for me at the time. Healing from my first business breaking down and falling apart because the end of the 80s, everybody went bankrupt, even department stores, and nobody paid me. I was such shock that it was a complete deconstruction of my belief system, which of course I'm very grateful for because it's what got me on my spiritual path. So I started saying, what else is out there? Right? And so I started to work with animals and I would take care of them. And then I met people who healed them and I met people who communicated with them, and it led me into my healing path. And so the first thing I did was some Tellington touch and some animal communication. This was really profound because I got to take care of animals that were dying, talk to animals who had died, talk to animals who lived outside, who were wild or feral, and ones that lived with people, ones that were eating the furniture, and all kinds of things. So that naturally led to speaking to crystals. And then my real goal that I wanted, and it took me years to get there, was to talk to angels or to Buddha or to Kuan Yin or to to magical teachers, angels, and master teachers. So step by step over the years, I've worked with all of these different realms, from goddess circles to mystery schools to healing, and traveling in, taking people to sacred places like Egypt and here in Maya, into pyramids and all this kind of stuff. So through those ages, I've collected a lot of different, I've worked with a lot of different energies or entities or essences, however you want to look at it. And so the Light Body Healing Council is here with us in the Infinity Healing Chamber. So as you relax into this space and you stay in that inner presence to be here, because the only place you're going to receive an answer or a healing or anything you want is right here, right now, in this present moment. And then this present moment, this present moment. All right. So here are my main guide, Thoth. So Thoth is an Egyptian god who also manifested as Hermes. So the Hermetic laws and all of the medicine and writing, chemistry and magic, all kinds of things, science, everything came from him. Every time he came, there was civilization would explode. And he had many other lives that brought them, but this is the guide that brings us the information to understand that the subtle realms and our bodies, our light bodies, that we are a structure of light that's enormous, that carries all the information we need. So instead of feeling like we're this sad, pathetic little physical body, we want that. Kuan Yin is also on, she's a bodhisattva, and she holds all the pain of the world and holds compassion. So you can always give her your pains and fears. Along with Saint Germain, she helps hold the violet flame on the planet, and the violet flame is a very, very important energy that you can use to cleanse and clear. It's transmutational, which means it doesn't just burn it away and it comes back. It transmutes the energy and reconnects you to your purpose. So it is a very powerful ray. Saint Germain is also one, as I said. Kukulkan is the serpent god of the Maya, who shows us to shed the old and to just follow the path, and you'll emerge, reclaiming your feathers and coming back, connecting to your higher self. We have Isis and Horus, who are also beautiful and amazing Egyptian gods and goddesses that held the eye, the all-seeing eye. This is the Wadjet from the Light Body School. And we work with the dolphins. We work with all the elementals. And let's see, I think that's everybody. No, Merlin and Gaia. And so these are the energies that are here. If you resonate with any of them, that's fine. If you don't, that's no problem. Just to let you know, often people ask me that. And also, I want you to just really get present and create a clear connection to your higher self. So you're going to do this by taking your hand and weaving from your heart up, crossing in your third eye, and reaching above your head about, let's see, about, as high as you can, maybe right up here, and coming back down, crossing in your third eye, and then scooping into your heart and crossing here. So you're basically doing a big infinity symbol, and you're just going to ask that your heart and your inner eye connect with your higher self in a clear and open flow. Thank you. All right, so these are just a few of some of the many things we do to create a stronger connection with the truth within us, to create clear pathways in our energy field. If you can, tap your feet and open your feet chakras, sending some pink energy through there. This is where we let go of the old, and that's important too. All right, so beautiful. So now we're going to begin Ask Anything. And I'm going to take a look. So on this platform, I don't have a way to hear you. So we can't talk back and forth. However, I'll look through the questions here. I'll look through the questions people sent in. I'll share the answers. If I'm answering your question here, please type in any feedback, any questions, any follow-up questions. I'm happy to do that, because normally if I'm leading something very deep and I'm like, woo, leaving in the ethers, I don't check the chat. But this one is all about the chat, so I will see it, okay? Okay, getting my throat well lubricated. I want to share my panda with you. My cute little panda cup here. Isn't that adorable? And it has a little spoon. And I've been leading the goddess sanctuary where we are realigning with our feminine flow, meaning balancing that in ourselves so that we can trust the power of our intuition and these other creative powers of the feminine as much as we've learned to trust the masculine. And I'm having a blast. I am like, I bought a pink purse and I have a little unicorn that I carry around. And I got these little cute cups, and I'm just allowing that part of me to have fun. It doesn't matter to me what anybody thinks anymore. It's so much fun. Alrighty. All right. I just want to share the rest of the things on the altar. Sometimes people ask me about them later. And if you're feeling a resonance, you might be getting a message from somebody here. I have here underneath me a turquoise and a citrine pyramid. These are clarity and communication. As you see, my throat is trying to clear. We have our beautiful jaguar. Here's our feminine moon jaguar. Here's our masculine obsidian jaguar. We have a rose quartz pyramid, and this is a programmed mystery school sacred rose quartz heart. Got another rose quartz heart here. Many star tetrahedrons. Jasper, which is really powerful right now. I suggest you get some. We use it for protection, but it has a lot of other amazing things. A lot of amethyst. I have my amethyst. This is my key to my higher self. I didn't know when I bought it. It's a pyramid with 4, and it's got a little thing going on over here. We have Corn Maiden, and we have our amethyst here, and this is our Atlantean goddesses. They are the butterfly heart goddesses. They have a sun spiral on their back, so they are perfectly balanced between masculine and feminine, owning their power from behind, bringing it in from their higher realms, and opening their heart into the world to create. That's what I want for you. All right, good. Yes, I am hearing messages. So, oh, Bob says, nice flower of life crystal. Where to get one? It's a good question. I would like to know. If anybody ever finds out, let me know. Years ago, one of my mystery school teachers had them made for us, and we pre-ordered them. They were very expensive at the time because this was a hologram, and you didn't really see people doing that very much. Now you can, in London, there's a toy store, amazing toy store you can go into, and they'll do that of your face or something. So you might be able to find one online, but I don't know where that came from, and I've had it a long time. It goes with me everywhere. Okay, let's see what we've got. I'll just say hi Pamela. Aloha from Hawaii. Hi Bob. All right, we've got Bob and Guardian Angel. Thank you, Pamela. Hi, Lindsay. Hello, all, she says. Hope you're doing well. Sending love and gratitude for this opportunity. I'm so excited to be a part of this. Me too, me too, me too. So, like I said, this is Ask Anything. So when you ask a question, just type it in here. Ooh, that jumped away. Wow, there we go. Okay, Green. Hello, sweetie. Hello. Abundance and ease in everything. I like that. It's probably a question many people will have. That down over here. Everything. How to. Big how to question, right? How to be guided. To be guided. That's the greatest thing, instead of how, I say I'm open, and I don't say to be guided, but I like that. You could say I'm ready to be guided. I'm ready to receive guidance. I'm open and receptive. I am clear. I like to be clear. I like the clarity part. And I like to let go to what is optimal for me. So I don't want to push things too much, right? I don't want to force things too much because then I realized later on I wish I hadn't. Even if at the time I achieved the goal that I thought I wanted, it's better to ask for guidance. Thank you, Chris. Hi, Akasha. Grateful to be here. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Grace. Oh, wow. Grace is writing a spiritual book. Ah, okay. And Jennifer, hi, sweetie. Good morning. I have lots of soulmate questions. Okay, soulmates with Jennifer. That was Grace. Oh, Grace is the one. Where did I write that? Book. I wrote spiritual space. How interesting. I wrote that next to your name, Grace. Spiritual space. I thought I wrote book. Ah, um, alrighty. Oh, it's taking so long. I'm obsessed. I love it, Jennifer. You're so cute. Um, Usually a lot of Jennifers, so better write your name down. Soulmates, where, why, when? We should probably do a 3-hour event like that where we just go deep into clearing and cleansing and real aligning with soulmates. I can't tell you how fabulous they are because I have one. Yeah. Hi, Fran. Okay. Just getting a sense for what we're looking here on. Thank you, Nora. Hi, PK. Good one. Ah. Okay, this is also good and juicy. Good. Yeah, Autumn's asking about getting in touch with your spiritual guides. And I'm going to do something soon around that. It's been coming in and out, like perhaps like a Saturday where we just do a deep dive or something. But like I said, if you do what I was explaining, one of my clients has done, she's starting to have really spontaneous, right? Not forced connections and communication. The first thing to do when you're looking for, so this is, I'm answering Autumn saying, no, not Autumn, where is it? Yeah, Autumn. Okay, how can I get in touch with my spirit guides? So it looks like we're going to start with that because I'm going into it. This is a question that we already brought up a little bit, and it's such a great question that I had for a long time. The best thing about right now is everything is fast. Everything is happening so much faster than it used to. And that means the breakdowns are happening faster, but it also means that the breakthroughs and the realizations and the manifestations of things are happening much faster. All right, I'm going to have to do that a lot because I have to lubricate my throat. So the beautiful thing about getting in touch with your spirit guides is they're already there and they're already talking to you, the optimal ones. Now, when I do a soul reading and of course deeper sessions, but the soul readings is such a great thing because it's a snapshot, it's a picture of what's going on for you right now. And we get guidance or we see new guides or we see guides that are trying to talk to you or we see where your blocks are to those guides or we see other lives that are coming in. So first of all, let go of thinking you know what it's going to be like because you don't. And it's often, even now, I'm shocked. Like I've been doing this a long time and I've been doing it for other people. And I've had so much of my own shit fall apart and gone through so much healing and stuff that I don't have any attachment to, am I good enough? And is it right? I'm just show up as a clear channel. I'm so grateful. I'm here. However, it doesn't mean that I get it all the time. So recently I realized, oh, look, and I had to rise up and look at something from a different perspective. So any form of meditation, any form of chanting, stretching, peacefully being, I just walk on the beach and I sometimes listen to music, very rarely listen to like a book or something. I might do chants. I like to chant. But mostly I'm just being because I need a decompression experience from thinking, planning, daily life, teaching sessions, writing emails, whatever it is, right? I just have to be. So I just look at the sky and I look at the beach. Anything you can do where you are not thinking, you are not planning, you are not grabbing and attached, you are present. So the idea of be in the now and the present moment and all that stuff we've heard for eons is so important because everything else is grasping. Everything else is reaching outside of our light body and we're trying to figure out what's going to happen in the future and we're trying to feel safe and we're trying to let go or blame someone in the past or we're whatever. Like there's all these attachments and if you could see your energy field, you would see all these energies that are going to the past when someone betrayed you and going to the future where you're worried, will you be good enough, and seeking your soulmate, right? This is good for all of that. So if we become present with what's already here, you'll be shocked at the depth. The depth meaning like, oh, I can see the room. Oh, now I can see the whole house just from staying right in yourself, right? Oh, now my senses or my perceptions have cleared enough. I've detached enough that I can see, oh, I can see the whole town, right? Oh, how I can see from above and below. I can, and that's just a physical example of expanding what you can see. But the main thing is cleansing. Cleansing and clearing your light body, activating your light body. Your light body is your physical body, which isn't physical, but it's the most physical part, and all your subtle bodies, which is your mind, right? Your emotional body, and so on and so on. It's your chakras. Most people know what those are, which are another form of energy body. But that's why you're alive. Your glands wouldn't function if your chakras, if your energy centers weren't there intersecting with your physical body. That all this light structure around you brings you to life. Well, it's carrying fears, pains, attachments. I wish I had. Why did I? The failures, the desperation, what I think Jennifer was saying, like when and where and how and why and where's my soulmate? You know, I understand. We all feel that way. And sometimes it feels like I've been doing my stuff. I know I've been doing my stuff. What the hell is going on? And this last year with all the breakdowns and then the end of the year, kind of from the eclipse on my birthday-ish, through the timeline, the solstice, the timeline split, right then till just the last week or two, things have not moved. For most people, they feel like everything's stuck. Nothing's happening. I know I planted it. I know I'm watering it. I know I'm doing my things. Why isn't it? So when you feel that, look at the scale. Go to the shop and get the scale. It's free. And I'm going to actually, if you get the scale, we're going to add, instead of just the scale, of consciousness, the states of consciousness. These are the states that you can move to and through. These are the states that you're attached to. This is how you can tell why you're not manifesting the money or the soulmate, why you're not hearing your guidance. Because if you look at it and you test, or you just get honest with yourself and say, oh, I'm always here, or I'm here part of the time and I'm over here, or I feel like a victim, therefore I'm down in this, you're going to see how easy. If you were physically in the basement, you are not going to see who's coming from 300 miles away. You need to be at the top of the building. So these states of consciousness, we're going to add an instructional video on how to use it free to anybody who has it, because it's super important. So if you look at that and you're down in guilt and shame and victimhood and anger and blame and craving, okay, so when we're desperate, when we want something, I was constantly trying to prove I was good enough. I was constantly trying to make more money, constantly trying to be more successful, constantly trying to be the best at this and this and this. And in one way, that was a great way to live my life, because I did become really good at a lot of things, okay? And I have strength and perseverance if I want to. But I was applying it for the wrong reasons. It was filled with desperate energy. And this is what you don't want, is so when you let go of where is it and why can't I feel it, and looking for it, it's a bit like the fly. So I say this a lot, but if you haven't heard it, it's always an aha. And if you have heard it, it's a great reminder. So I think the man's name is Price Pritchett, and there's a little tiny book, and I don't even remember what the book's called, but the beginning is this little story, and about, basically, we've all seen this, right? A fly that gets inside the house and it's at the window. It was not a fly, but there was this really unusual bug doing this the other day. So I opened the window and helped guide him out. And they sit, right, and they bump their head against the glass because they can see. There it is. There's outside. Oh, there's some food. There's some trees. There's the sky. There's an infinite abundance out there. I want some of that. I want some of that. I need to get out there. That's where I'm supposed to be. But they keep hitting the glass. This is an exact comparison to what we're talking about when we feel like I can't find my soulmate, I can't make the money, I can't hear my spiritual guides, right? And it's not to blame yourself. You're not, in my world, you're not allowed to blame yourself. You're not allowed to feel guilty, because what does it do? It just takes you back down the scale to those lower states. When you're down there, it's heavy. They're called force states for a reason. I call them heavy states, but the original creator of the scale, Dr. Hawkins, calls them force states. You want to be in a power state. What is a power state? Anything from courage up. Courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, reason, love, peace, happiness, joy, enlightenment, all these things, okay? Gratitude. Those are power states. Why are they power states? Well, they feel great, but because they're feeding you. They're actually giving you power. They're lifting you up. You feel the support. But when you're down in shame, guilt, anger, fear, blame, craving, or addiction, or desire, because you get into a disappointment loop, I want it, but I can't have it. I want it, but I can't have it. Down there is where revenge is, and where, loss is, and we've all been living down there. The planet is filled with it. So how do you hear a high frequency when you're under the ocean? You can't hear, right? When you're under in those heavy energies. So the first thing to think about, I want to know where anything is, I want to talk to my spirit guides, is cleanse and clear yourself. So the easiest thing is if you imagine your light body as this sphere all around you, because this sacred geometry shape of the flower of life contains every shape that forms everything in life. So this is what we use to represent your entire light body. I mean, we go into more details, but if you just see that around you and you take a deep breath and you hold a sincere intention that you want to activate your light body at optimal speed for you at this time, and then you that breath out, relax and watch, sense and feel. It's going to start to spin. It's going to start to throw off energies that don't serve you. It's going to start to highlight energies that are blocking you. That alone. Then I like to use the violet flame. Again, you just ask it to come. If you can't sense or feel it, it's okay. Keep doing it, you will. And you go, you see it coming through, just burning away everything, transmuting energy and reconnecting you to your purpose. So clear channels. Ask to be a clear and open channel to your higher self. And this way, you're going to start to open your energy field. This is what's blocked, but you don't, if we ignore it and we're over here thinking we know what it means to talk to our higher self by ignoring this. Now, the other fact is you live in a body. You aren't a body, but this is our car, okay? This is our vehicle to operate in this dimension, and it's limited. We cannot see things bugs see. We can't hear things that dogs hear, right? But we do have a higher self, and we do have a blueprint, and we are source, and we are these subtle energies. And so when we remember that and we make it a priority to cleanse and clear the same way we take a shower, you're going to start to feel more connection. Then you have to be quiet, like I was telling you in the beginning. Whether you meditate, listen to music, you walk and you don't think, okay? We're way too caught up and we're way too programmed to think all the time, to plan all the time, have lists, to do this, and we rush from one thing to the next and we don't give ourselves an adjustment time, decompression time. Your energy is the most important thing. Now, your spirit guides are already here and they are getting through in different ways. Oftentimes we'll look back and realize, oh, I kept being shown, I kept being told to go over here or to do this. Some of you may have heard the story about 7, let me finish the fly. So the fly, that's us, right? We know there's something we want. Our spirit guides are out there. Abundance is out there. Our happiness is out there. Our soulmate is out there. I can see it, but I keep hitting this glass ceiling, right? What if the fly turned around? There's a door wide open that it could just fly through. That's the story, the parable, right? But instead, most often the fly dies trying to get out that way. So take that and say, I'm going to try something different. Even Einstein said you have to solve a problem from a different state of consciousness. You can't still be in fear and hate and try to solve fear and hate. It doesn't work, right? So you have to rise out of that. You have to give your higher self, the elementals, your crystals, everything, whatever is your guide in this moment. Your body talks to us a lot, right? It's the thing that gets the priority. If your body's sick, you have to stop, right? So that's sort of the last ditch effort of communication. Recognize that you have these forms of communication coming in from all over and be in a place where that communication can come through. Think of it like a phone. If you never answer the phone, you don't really have the right to complain that somebody didn't communicate with you and give you instructions or give you guidance or give you updates or give you information or tell you there was a sale, whatever, right? So we have to be responsible for our part of the equation, because spirit guides and all this are there like, hey, how's it going? I remember becoming aware when I had a massive 2x4. I was in a car accident. They thought I broke my neck, and all kinds of interesting things happened from there. That was one of those breakdowns, and along with other things. And I started going into my spiritual path. I didn't know what I was doing. I started meditating. I would sit in the jacuzzi in my condo building every day, every night, and meditate and try to visualize. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I had a book. I didn't have an audio. I just had a book. And pretty soon I had this vision flash into my mind. And I could see all these figures behind me, and they went like this. Hey, go over here, talk to that guy. And I was just, I'm living my life, I'm making it happen. Oh, I was too busy, right? And then it's a little louder. Hey, 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 hey. And then tapping. Hey, 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 wait a minute. And then what we call the spiritual 2x4. Oh, wackadoodle, right? Bam! Stop going in that direction. You do not want what's there. So there's an amazing Rumi poem that says, if your life is turning upside down, don't worry. How do you know it doesn't look better upside down? You don't know, because you've never been there. So this obsession with things staying the same, if you're attached to things staying the same, if you're attached to people liking you or not thinking you're weird because you're talking to spirit guides, right? Whatever it is, you've got to find those blocks and start to melt them, unhook them, unravel them. Do work with me or buy the courses or find somebody that helps you unpack, unhook, and clear your light body. And this is true for everything you guys are going to ask, right? Where's my money? Where's my soulmate? Go to the cleanse, go to the clear, ask for your light body to realign. You may be a complete wired up mess because of things you've been through. This is the moment we all came to clear it. This is the moment. The clients I'm working with privately, it's quite profound because there's not easy lives here. There's a lot of pain and a lot of drama and a lot of abuse and a lot of betrayal and all kinds of stuff going on. And so as we uncover the energetics of it, you see that pattern floats out into everything. So if you have a fear of asking for money, if you have a fear of asking for a raise or going on a job interview, I sucked so bad. Oh my God, I was so bad at it. Maybe that's why I ended up partially going into my own businesses. But if you have whatever, what is it? What is your fear? Is your fear that you won't meet your soulmate? Is it fear that you're not good enough for your soulmate? Is your fear that you're not pretty enough, not rich enough, not too old, too young? You don't want somebody who looks like that. You don't want somebody who's under this age. You're putting limits on it. Let's just put it that way, right? Anything you believe about yourself is inside of you in some layer of your body, usually in your cells where your DNA has been flipped. You can flip your DNA. You do not have to get your ancestral diseases, okay? And it's probably embedded in your mind in some kind of belief and memory, and it's embedded in your emotional field in some kind of thing you've decided to give meaning and power to, and so on and so forth. That's why you have to recognize you're multidimensional. And when you go to a different state, you see and perceive different things. So even just some of my meditations will lift you in 30 to 45 minutes out of fear and desperation, at least for an hour, to have the antenna open, right? Have the perceptions clearer that you will. Now, when you come to talk with your spirit guides and letting go of your perceptions of how it's going to happen is really important. Everybody receives information in a different way. And I learned this myself because I kept sitting in these groups and people would say, oh, that was amazing. And sparkles came and fairies came and a God took me here and this happened and that happened and there was a pink rainbow and on and on and on. And I was sitting there going, I didn't feel anything. I didn't see anything. And then I'd start seeing a color. And then I'd start feeling odd sensations in my body. But it took a long time. Well, now we're in accelerated evolution. So this shit's going to change. It's changing fast. So if you're in the present moment, you can really be in that present moment. You can get what's available in that moment. And you can release what's opportune for you to release in that moment and make a leap, because the next moment will be completely different. And so when you find where you're attached to, when you let go or try to see where you are, so you could just say, I'm an open and receptive, clear channel, ready and willing to receive that which is optimal for me. When we're ready to receive what's optimal, when we're willing to follow the guidance that comes in, trust it, and we're willing to make sure that we don't attach to that guidance. So let me give an example. Yes, I see that. They're showing me, here's what happens when we perceive that we've gotten a message. We get a dream that's very vivid. Boy, I had a client the other day, and they had some vivid dreams that they remembered very, very well. And even ones that fade when they're that vivid when you come out. This isn't some fantasy that you're having, right? This is you traveling into other lives and other parts of your soul and having experiences in other states. Then you come back in that twilight zone. That's, again, the best place to communicate, to put on a meditative song, to go to sleep with the meditation, to hold the declaration that you're ready and willing and open and receptive to that. Okay? So here's what happens when you say you want something. It is 100% positive that you get clear on what you would like and what you don't want. And I say that with great emphasis because we have for too long been told to just accept what we get, to be happy with not enough, that we don't deserve, whether it's a family or a culture or religion or wherever you may have heard it. And this is embedded in the collective conscious, this not good enoughness. And it gets in the way of us seeing the people and opportunities that are all around us. So when you judge yourself, you're automatically judging your soulmate. You're automatically judging, when you judge yourself, that you can't hear your spirit guides or that maybe they don't like you. Sometimes I feel that way. Somebody like, well, I want to hear from you more strongly. I want it differently. I want to hear more strongly. I want to hear sooner. I want the money to come before the last second. I want this. I want that. Any form of complaint is lack of acceptance. Just notice that. Don't even get down on yourself. Oh, I'm a complainer. Or, oh, no, I'm not a complainer. And be defensive. Just be like, oh, that's lack of acceptance. It's a limit you've put between you and what you want. So if you wrote down everything that you thought you weren't good enough for to deserve a soulmate, to deserve money, or to deserve clear communication with a spirit guide, okay, I think this is probably going to cover a lot of people. You start to realize that you have put these limits, you've put these hurdles, these barriers between you and what this thing is that you are ready for. Because when you feel a desire for it, you're ready for it. There's two reasons you're ready for it. If you interpret a message and you become attached to what it said, so if a psychic or something tells you, you're going to find, here, I'll give you a real example. I had a friend that I met in Egypt, and we did lots of sacred spiritual travel and work around the world. And she came to visit me, and she had been told by somebody that she was going to meet her soulmate, and her soulmate would be, I think they said West Indian. I think that was the word that they used. So meeting an Indian person from India versus a Native American Indian from the US or Guatemala or something, okay? And I don't, well, sometimes that kind of information comes through, but I'm very different in how I work. But this was what someone had told her, so she was very obsessed with it. When she was there, we went out to lunch with one of my very favorite friends, who was a Black American man. And he was who I made my first meditations with and my binaural beats with. He's just a wonderful man. And she thought this was her soulmate. She decided right there, as soon as she saw him, that. And so she was saying, oh my gosh, I think it's him. I think it's him. And we were all looking at her going, he's not West Indian if that's what you believe. Now, for me, I wouldn't want to be that tuned in. I might be like, you know what? Maybe the West Indian information that came through is that person's lack of clarity, or it just means that this is where I want to lean, that maybe the information will come through that's Indian. Maybe I'll go into a store that sells Indian things like this, and there'll be a person, right? So expand it into the energy more than a specific, because how we interpret it and then decide it's going to be is a block or a barrier, okay? Then what happened was she became obsessed with forcing that to be the answer, to make it be the answer. And I see this a lot with people. They get communication from their higher self or from something. They felt like it was clear and they decided what it meant. What I mean is when you receive information, that's one thing. That's you getting clear, being ready, willing, and open, and receiving and being open to it coming from any direction. Okay, so that could be guidance towards your soulmate or anything else. Then you have to decipher it. You have to let it come in and be within you. You might not have consciously received any of it or most of it or some of it. You might have seen a little bit, gotten a few things. To me, you need to sit with it, meditate, write it down, and be with it for a day or two or so. Then you might see pieces start coming together. Information that came in that you weren't conscious of that starts to rise up into your dreams or into your consciousness. And then you start to see synchronicities, or suddenly you feel like, I want to go to this restaurant, and you meet someone. Or you suddenly have one of those inspirations. The signs, the communication can be very subtle. We can ignore it, right? The fact that like, I feel like a cappuccino today, and I want to go to my favorite coffee house instead of having one at home. And you go over there and you meet somebody. And then you think, that's the person. But maybe it's not. Maybe that person will lead you to the person, or will turn you in a direction, or will introduce you to a concept, or will teach you, if you've had other dates, right, other relationships, what you don't want. And all of those things are fine. So it's our grasping on, this is the answer, this is it, I did this one meditation and now I'm going to be abundant forever. This is nonsense, okay? And it's being taught all over the place. It's a process. You are transmuting energy that has been blocked into receiving. You have to then realize, are you willing to receive? Do you feel worthy to receive? What are those barriers you've put between you and your soulmate or your money or your guidance? Okay? And it sounds really complex. However, it's not, because all these things start to shift at the same time. All right? Now, when you become locked onto, I want $10,000. I want spiritual guidance today about this one thing. I want to know who my soulmate is. Where are they? What the fuck? Right? Whatever it is, you've got to look at the scale and realize you're tense, you're constricted, you're looking at one thing, you're the fly, banging your head. It's right there and I want it. Why can't I have it? I've been there. I know. Okay? So what do? You breathe in and you come into the moment. You turn around and you look for the open doors that you can fly through easily. You look for, what is it? I've even done this for trips. A long time ago, I wanted to go to Belize. I planned the trip. There was no internet. You read books and I did all these things and I contacted people. And then I got to the point where I was ready to book a plane. And I could not for the life of me find a decent flight. It was going to take really long time and there were a lot of layovers and it felt like the energy was being blocked. Now we often use this, understand that things that are blocked and things that open are spiritual guidance. However, you have to remember what we perceive as maybe not good is also spiritual guidance. Right? Oh, that relationship blew up. Well, gosh, I can't believe it. That was terrible. Why does this happen to me? Maybe that was the best thing and your guidance is trying to steer you because next to you, we see this in movies because we can see it because we're the ones, we're like God, we're like watching, from above, watching the play happen. We're like, but you really love that person. This is the way our life is. There's information and opportunities everywhere. Right? So you go through and you listen, you give value and worth and respect to the guidance that comes to you, and you don't stay attached to what you think it is, because you might think it's something today and wake up tomorrow and think, no, I don't think that's it. But is it buyer's remorse, which is guilt and doubt and fear you've made the mistake, that you don't want to do something wrong? Or is it your spiritual guidance saying, hey, over here? So every limit or barrier or block between you and what you're seeking is either a fear-based block, attachment vow, or whatever that you want to cleanse and let go of, or it's a information to follow. So I can just take a step. So right now, today, everyone here who wants to know, I want to communicate with my spirit guides, I want to find my soulmate, I want more money, I want to know whatever. There's another person, I think it was Bob, who said they wanted some information from your spirit guides, right? So the first thing to do is to sit down, do some breathing or whatever you do to get present. Burn everything off, and except if it's chants or like nice music, do some incense or smudge yourself, whatever you can do to stay clear. And ask for a clear connection to your higher self through your heart. Sit and feel. When you ask a question, then stop thinking. Be like you're in the center and you're just looking around peacefully. I had this experience where Paramahansa Yogananda, who's the subject of the autobiography of a yogi, and um, Self-Realization Foundation was the foundation that he created. There's beautiful meditation gardens in San Diego and Encinitas where I used to live. So I went there almost every day that they were open. And I had my very first meditation class I ever took a gazillion years ago. Was the teacher then pulled me into a private training in Kriya Yoga, which is his spiritual practice. And so he's very special to me. And when I lived in California and I was able to go to the gardens, I started to see him. I started to notice his presence, in different places. And I asked him to come and sit next to me because I stopped to meditate there for a few hours on my way to my first ayahuasca journey, which was very scary to me because I knew I was probably going to throw up and all those other things that were going to come with it. And his presence sat next to me, which was really wonderful. It was a new level of communication. It was a new level of communication because I felt his presence and I'd talked to him, but I'd never seen him the way I saw there. And then I started to perceive him next to me. So he came with me to the ayahuasca journey. And when we were in the state, I was sitting. I can't sit cross-legged like a yogi. I realized I was sitting like a yogi and he was sitting next to me. And I asked him, how do you start a movement that lasts over 100 years, which is what he did. He's still impacting people, although he's not in his body anymore. And I wanted to know how to do that. And he said, I'll show you, and merged with me, came right into my body. So these are different levels of communication, right? You might just have a flash, a vision of something you should do. You might think about a food you want. You might think about a person. You might suddenly decide you want to watch a particular show, right? You might get sensations in your body. Certain memories might come up. You never know. Right now I'm having massive physical reactions to this conversation. It's like in my deep sacral belly is like, whoa. So your body might talk to you, right? Your emotions might talk to you. You just want to watch and accept it. So he merged with me. Again, I'd had this happen before, but not much. And this was very profound. So I found that I was sitting like this in a yogi position in the same space as his consciousness. We were one. And I was at the meditation, or his foundation, and we were just sitting there. And it was like fast forward watching people go around and build the Self-Realization Foundation, not just physically, but the movement. And he just sat in the middle and he started to give me the wisdom of this, right? Then there's a lot of messages and I'm not going to share them, but so then he said, we're just sat for a while. And pretty soon I asked, what are we doing? I was waiting for more talking and information and constant, whatever. He said, we're waiting for the sky to open up. And I was like, oh, okay, that's profound, right? So I sat, and guess what? I was looking in the wrong place. This is what I'm talking about when you're looking for it to manifest from your job, and over here there's somebody who wants to give you money, right? Or you're looking for your soulmate and you're so intent looking or writing things that they're walking past you every day. Right? So I'm looking up. Of course, I'm in this massively altered state, and I'm feeling that I'm these two people at once, but in my inner consciousness is looking up because that's where the sky is, and I'm waiting for the sky to open up. And all of a sudden, it opened up within me. It opened up in my solar plexus, and I was like looking up, and I went, oh. So this is what we do, right? We're looking for the guidance in a particular way or from a particular source. We're banging our heads against the wall because we're not willing to stop, become present. Becoming present is when you become connected multidimensionally, because then you can look around and see all the timelines or doors or however you want to perceive it and be like, oh, this one looks open. Why is it open? Because your guides have opened it. Right? You know, if you go down that path and suddenly your relationship falls apart and you lose your job, then you have to trust that that's what's best for you in this moment and look for what's the next thing. But when something falls apart, we become attached to it. We keep looking at it, looking back at it, and looking down at it and feeling bad about it. Okay? That was a very long answer, however. It seemed to answer a lot of people. Let me see if there's anything else. No. Okay, good. So clearing yourself, we'll just recap really quick. Daily, many times a day, allowing yourself to recognize what limits you've put on. Okay. What if your soulmate is 10 years younger than you and you're saying, I'm not talking to anybody who's 10 years younger? What does it matter if it's your soulmate? When you feel your soulmate, you're going to feel your soulmate, right? It's going to be the person. What we're seeing now is there's way less barriers in gender. There's a lot of people now who are like, I'm ready for my soulmate. And it doesn't matter if they're in a woman body or a male body or a 40-year-old body or whatever. Just don't go for 15-year-olds, please. But you get what I mean. So look where you're limiting yourself, wherever it is you're seeking. Okay, if you want guidance, then the guidance is already there. The last thing that I am going to touch on is asking a question. The way that people ask questions just is not clear and doesn't create a clear answer. Then we decipher it often based on our needs, desperations, fears, and attachments. And then it's not clear. And then we go after somebody and wonder, why isn't it working out? And we're trying to shove something into working when it really wasn't what the guidance was. All right. So look at clearing yourself. Look at asking the question in a clear way. Ask your questions. What is optimal for me at this time? What's optimal for you when you have pneumonia is not the same thing as when you're 20 at your peak physical stature, right? What is optimal for you when you're getting ready to have a spiritual awakening is not the same thing that's optimal for you when you're opening a new business. Whatever it is if you trust and want guidance from your higher self, then you have to trust that the guidance that comes through. If you're disappointed it didn't come through the way you wanted, or it wasn't what you wanted, think about this. You have all these barriers that you can't see. If your higher self said, first you have to deal with this one because you can't get to that. First this one, then we'll get you there. But take this one. And you keep going, why is that coming up? And you try to shove it down and you try to go over here. But this is in the way. Okay? So ask your question optimally. I'm open to best possible advice for me at this time. I'm connected to my highest good, my higher self, and through my heart, I am aligned with my purpose and soul signature frequency, and I ask to be a clear and open channel to my highest good. I am a clear and open channel. I am an excellent receiver. Okay? I am here now. You want to be here now, you want to be a clear and open channel, and you want to be an excellent receiver. So all three of those steps can be involved, but whatever is being presented to you, whether you love it or not, deal with it, accept it, see what it holds for you. Inside of every problem and pain is a doorway. Solutions aren't born from peace and happiness. Solutions are born from a problem, right? Okay, fantastic. That was way fun. Let's see. This is true, Autumn, as well for improving and fixing relationships, okay? This is, it's 11:11. This is cleanse, connect, receive. Cleanse, connect, receive, okay? This is part of the secret. And improving and fixing your relationships. Let's look at that. So when you want to improve a relationship or fix it, when you want to improve yourself or fix it, when you want to improve, not be angry, not complain, you want to change your health, right? Lose weight or get in shape or grow your hair or whatever it is, right? When you're trying to improve or fix, first of all, fixing is a bad issue. It's if you want to get away from fixing because nothing is wrong. And it's only whether it's optimal for you or not optimal for you. All right. So you see how when you ask a question like that, it's all mucked up energetically and you can't get a clear answer because you want to improve something. Okay. That is, if it's optimal for you, it is an improvement, right? But you are attached to what that means. Right? So I want to get better at speaking Spanish, and then I don't go out for a month and I realize my Spanish has not improved and has gotten worse. Okay. And then I get, what happened? Instead of what's optimal for me at this time. And then you can ask, you can state this area because you want to be the director of your life. You want to be like, I'm ready and willing to release the heavy toxic energies I carry in my body and my mind and my emotions so that I can align with my highest good, receive clear guidance, align with my soulmate, my prosperity, my abundance, my purpose, and live each day present and enjoy. All right. Fixing things is really dangerous because it assumes all kinds of energy. It's like you go in and you pull the trash back and you put it in your kitchen. All right. I got to fix this. So instead, ask if you can align with what's optimal for you. And if you don't know what that is, or if there's a particular topic, ask for that. Now, when it comes to relationships, again, we are the creators of our reality. So that relationship is an agreement that we have at a soul level that they're going to show up and be a certain way in response to us. But we can terminate any agreement, any relationship. We can transmute any relationship into something else by allowing ourselves to expand out, clear, cleansed, aligned, receiving. Then the energy that we put out into that relationship is pure. We don't want to be grasping. We don't want to expect anything from somebody. We don't want to wait and put ourselves on hold, waiting for other people to like us, to agree with us, to apologize to us, any of that. But yet that's what we're taught to do. So people hold themselves back their whole lives based on their family, their parents, their spouses, their kids, their job. Well, I'll get to a point someday when I'll do what I want. No, you won't. You'll go all the way, and then you'll come back and go all the way, and you're going to live frustration. Why not just fast forward it right now? Right? Clear and cleanse yourself. If you get the Infinity Light Weaving course that we have, it's so deep. It gives you so much with such simple tools. 40 some meditations, you just throw them on and clears your light body, activates your light body, gives you tools to open and clear and cleanse and reconnect and create clear channels and all this kind of stuff. It's a great idea. Now, when you want to improve a relationship, this is a very nice idea. So don't think that I'm bullying you or any way. When I look, I realize I'm the one that thinks this. I'm the one that's deciding the meaning. I'm the one that's showing up this way. Is this a relationship I need to get away from? Is that what's optimal for me at this time? And maybe come back many years later. My mother disowned me during my divorce, rather unpleasantly. I drifted away into nothingness, right? And when I came back around and made contact again, many years later, it was because I had released all attachment to her loving me or not loving me, to the pain of being loved or being disowned or being cut off, and the pain of what I wanted from that. And I refused to enter that relationship again if I wanted anything from that person, okay? And then I realized that's what I want in all my relationships. I don't want to be needy. Now, the person I live with, I want harmony, right? I want to flow. So I say, oh, how can I be more harmonious with this person? How can I be more me? How can I be more present? How can I not jump to conclusions? How can I not fall into those old patterns and react? Because we all have them, right? So again, this is an inner job of unhooking. And so improving a relationship with yourself, with your body, with your money, with your lover, with your children, with your parents, with your boss, with whoever, okay? This is you relaxing and releasing judgment. So look at the scale. What's in that relationship? Is there guilt in the relationship? Well, that's a really, really heavy energy. Is there shame in the relationship? Is there revenge? Is there fear? Is there anger in the relationship? What are you carrying? What is part of that relationship? It is an energy structure as well. When you create a business, you're creating an energy structure. What energy did you put into it? When you create a relationship, it's an energy structure. It combines you and another person, or you and a group of people, and all of you bring your energies to it. So you don't want to make them change. You don't want to try to change anybody. And you certainly don't want to base your life on when they're going to change or if they change. And this is really difficult when you're in a partnership like a marriage, when you feel stuck in a relationship that you don't feel freedom to change or remove. And when you start to change and other people don't like it and they're not going to, okay, then you stop. So the bigger thing is, how can I let go of my attachment to needing anything from anybody, from wanting this relationship to be anything except harmony and what is optimal for me at this time. When you're in a power state, it lifts you up. When you have a relationship based on that, you have harmony. You accept and receive their love, and you give back. You forgive and let go of all the other things, and you flow. You transcend. There's compassion, and so on. So you can look at the scale. And if you want to design a relationship, I'm not against that idea. Giving yourself direction, giving your mind a focus. Oh, here I am going down into complaining again or blaming again. I don't want to blame. There's no value in me dragging this relationship all the way down to blame. Okay, it's nearly the lowest state of consciousness. It's so heavy, right? So whether you're blaming yourself or someone else or both, you see that in the relationship, you let go and start to rise up. You let go and rise to the surface. Now you have an opportunity to see things from a higher state, to let go of the burdens of feeling like they wronged you or you wronged them or you're not good enough or you want it differently and when's it going to change? Because those are all heavy restrictive energies. They restrict your organs and your belly and your breathing and your cells, and they restrict your mind and your cash flow and your opportunities, and they restrict your communication with your higher self. All right, so that's a really good one too. Ah, well, Nora, thank you for all you're doing, sweetheart. So PK says, where's my tribe? And where are my collaborators? And where's my partner? And where will my body thrive geographically? And where do I head now? Wow. Ah, good. I'm just seeing. You know, Lindsay, you say it's like a two-way mirror. Where and what are my blocks? I feel my guides are trying to communicate with me. They are. So we've already been down that road, right? And I feel my guides are, and I can't hear them. It's like a two-way mirror. They can see me and hear me, but I can't see and hear them. It's amazing you said that, because in the Goddess Sanctuary, we had a journey with Lakshmi. So if you still want to join that, you can. It's in the shop, and all the journeys with all of the goddesses are there. And this Monday we have Sekhmet. And when we were with Lakshmi, that's exactly what happened. It was a fascinating journey. We went through all the different things to bring us into the temple and everything. And then all of a sudden we realized that we went through the looking glass. And we're on the other side of the mirror, looking back exactly like how you're describing, looking back at Lakshmi, which means wealth and abundance and never ending spiritual and material wealth. And we look back. In fact, you can just get the Lakshmi journey too, if you feel drawn to that in the shop. And so we had this really profound experience in the journey where we turned around and realized that the reality we're in is the reality we've created of lack. And when we turn around and realize, well, I went through the looking glass and that's me, and I want to get to the other side. And then the whole thing shifts and the journey takes you back through. And that's exactly how it is, just like the fly, what you're talking about. So hopefully what we said earlier will really help you. And, if any of you want a reading or want to talk to me about other work together, let me know. But this is what we channeled, or what we talked about earlier was quite good for all of that. So, Pamela, your twin flame connection is taking so long because of the exact reasons that we were just talking about. that you're looking for it, you're craving it, you're attached to it, you're looking for it to come in a certain way and a certain time. So when you hear stories of like, when I stopped looking for a partner, they appeared, or when I stopped trying to have a baby, I had a baby, that's part of the energy we're talking about. So again, apply that what we were talking about earlier. So Rita, the way that you increase your capacity to help the collective to heal humanity is like this. Clear, or become a clear and open channel. Receive, listen, and then emanate that energy. When you align with yours, we're so embedded in this consciousness of sacrifice, this consciousness that has been out of balance into the masculine energy, which is hard work and suffering and pushing and hard, and it's got to take a long time, and we don't deserve, and all of that stuff. But when you come in the present moment and you start to love yourself, which is what I love about the divine feminine coming back and the goddess sanctuary and these ones, is being loved, just receiving love, allowing yourself to become who you are, you're helping the collective humanity. When you heal and clear yourself, you heal and clear everyone. You give that permission out there. That energy is there now, and somebody's going to hook into it, whether you know them or not. When you align and clearly communicate with your higher self, when you let your messages come through, maybe you wait to see what they mean, or you don't run to ask 25 people their opinion of it. You listen within to your own true inner guidance and what you do, your daily preparation for these moments of when your twin flame or your soulmate or your money or your opportunity or your purpose will show up. We need to be preparing every moment, not in, oh my gosh, like this. By receiving and being nourished, being prepared and being ready, being well fed and well loved and well supported. Feeling worthy enough would be the most huge thing. Living your life with joy would give most people and most of the planet the most amazing opportunities. So having, and this is for everything. So Julie says, what's optimal for me to know at this time, and how can I open to more to receive? And Rita said, can you share any messages to help me increase my capacity to help collective humanity? And Bob said the same thing. And so, and this is all underneath it. The energetics is the same, right? Short of very specific messages, which are here for you in the moment. The idea is clear and come present. How do you receive? Are you picking up the phone call? Are you hearing the phone call, right? Are you noticing the phone call? Are you looking around for the phone call? So when you help the collective, you can't do it by sacrificing your own energy, giving to everyone else first, being overburdened and obligated to everybody else, and then trying to shine and be this great example, climb a hill. I literally used to say, it felt like I was climbing a mountain with a 10-ton weight attached to my ankle. Now, that was a particular relationship but that represented my beliefs about myself. It represented all of those fears that I carried. It represented the fact that I wasn't willing to receive fully, nourish myself, let go of what other people thought, and become myself, so that then what I did really can help humanity at a higher level. You don't know how you're going to help humanity. So I'm going to share a message. I used to go to a channel, a lady named Karen in New Mexico who channeled Banu, and I believe she's still doing it. And everybody was asking, what's my purpose? So we've got some of that here too. Autumn says, what's my purpose? And many of you are saying, I want to know my purpose. Your purpose is to be you. Now, yes, there's more details inside that, so it's not an annoyingly vague answer, but your purpose is to be you. So are you using that every day to say, am I making this decision for me, from my heart, from a power state, or am I making it from force and fear? Am I reacting in this relationship from who I really know I am and want to be, loving and kind and harmonious? Or am I reacting from anger and fear and lack, feeling like I haven't been given enough or gotten enough or fed enough or seen enough or valued enough, right? So we come into the present moment. Who we become and the energy we give into the world every day adds to the energy. Right now, we are bathed in fear. fear, fear of being burned at the stake, I used to call it, fear of retribution for being yourself, for being psychic, for being a healer, for being loving, for being more in the feminine energy, meaning trusting your intuition, loving yourself, not being worried about overworking and sacrificing. And everybody wants to make you feel guilty about it. Everybody wants you to act the way they want you to act, because that's what they want in their reality. But you're not here to live their reality. You're here to live yours. So the best way you can help the planet is to live your reality, is to be selfish the way we were told not to, is to realize the world does revolve around you the way we were told it doesn't, okay? Is to value ourselves, is to know that the guidance is there, is to just decide, I'm going to cleanse and clear every day. I'm going to take my light body shower. I'm going to open. I'm going to give time and space within my mind, within my body, within my day, to hear that guidance, to know what's best. So maybe there's a way you could help someone in your community, but you don't know because you're too busy trying to figure it out. Okay, so trust that you are heard, you are seen. Everything outside of you, the higher levels, they see you. They know you're there. However, when you get really dim and dark and living in guilt, it's hard to see you. It's hard to hear you. Okay, so you've got to raise your frequency, and then all that guidance is already there. When you nourish yourself, trust yourself, when you listen to your inner guidance, when you follow it, and people don't like it, you're not being bad to humanity. Don't get gaslighted, don't get bullied, don't get confused, don't get your emotions pulled around. When your emotions are pulling you around, you are not in the present moment at your highest state. Your emotions are in charge. And what they say, and what those old agreements, like I'll never speak up again because when I did, people died. I got my head chopped off. I was burned at the stake or whatever, all the way up to right now. My sister bullied me as a kid for being intuitive, or my parents think it's stupid what I'm doing, or my religion would disown me if they knew that I'm receiving messages, whatever it is, okay? You've got to release that. So the answer is yes, it's there. And you will help everyone, especially yourself, your body, then your cash flow and your reality and your relationships and your life. And that'll start to flow out into the ethers. It'll become a thing that gives people permission. It'll be like a pill of energy. So every day and every second, what you think and feel, you are sending out into the world. We're all living in this cauldron together of soup. It's filled with fear because we're releasing those old fears of what if. We're releasing the old paradigm of being controlled, being in the masculine energy, and valuing things like family and institutions over personal freedom. We are releasing those for a reason, okay? So now you can be open to helping others by being the best of you. And I give you permission right now. Be you. Be that divine you came here to be. Please, please, please be you. It would be such an honor to watch you become, when it's not just that your life changes. It's not, and it also doesn't mean that your life will be perfect. What it means is that you're going to begin to flow. You're going to be unburden the heaviness. You're going to let go of the desperation and the fear. You're going to open to more communication and guidance. More magical moments will happen. And the more you receive it, the stronger you become. So you want to fill up. This also happens in the Lakshmi journey. So that's a really powerful one to get, because you're going to see where you've gone through the looking glass. You're going to fill up with that until you overflow. I also have here on YouTube a Lakshmi journey where we brought in the energy and overflow. It's 100% free. So go do that one over and over. Feed yourself, and then you give. You have to receive first. Otherwise, what do you have to give? You can't. So becoming you and finding your purpose means you clear out everybody else's expectations. You detach from the past and from agreements. You detach from what everybody thinks you should be. You detach what you thought you should be. You detach what you thought your soulmate would look like and how and when it would come. And when you become part of the ever-present now, you move into no time. There isn't a rush for anything. I need this now. I want this now. My purpose is to be here with my unique talents, my unique experiences, my unique creativity, and watch this rich, abundant now and pull from it. Ooh, this is delicious. Ooh, I think I want to create this. And then it comes together within you, and then you put it out into the world. But if you're living in guilt, fear, blame, shame, lack, and all the rest of it, that's what you're putting into the world. So you're feeding more of that back in. So if you are aware of how you're feeling and thinking every day and every minute, is going to make a huge impact on your own life and on everything in your life and on everybody. Okay. Oh, I love this idea of what's my starseed origin. Can you help me with my soul purpose? Oh, I'm going to have to answer these later. Now, I wanted to go back to two things. Okay. The spiritual book. All right. So let's do PK next. So PK wants to know where the tribe is, where are the collaborators, where's the partner, where will my body thrive geographically? So those are kind of soul reading questions. And if you want to do one, we can do that. Also, I really like astrocartography. It is crossing your astrological chart with a map, and it tells you where's your power spots for business, where's your power spots for love, where are your power spots for happiness and for wealth. And it is profound, and I've seen a profound difference for me and people by doing that. That's one way to find your geography. Now, people charge, the lady I hired was like $500 for the session, but there's probably websites that are less, or charts, maybe free charts. You can look that up. And if you know your astrological chart, or if you have it, you could, maybe there's a chart somewhere, but astrocartography is very powerful for that. Also, where do you resonate? You can trust yourself. I love the beach. I've always loved the beach. I felt guilty wanting to be at the beach, wanting to be there. Somehow my programming grew up that I didn't deserve to have what I wanted, and therefore every time I went to the beach I loved it, but I felt this desperation because I was going to have to leave, and oh my god, and then I was terrible. And I went there during my divorce for a while, and it was really how I survived it. And now I live at the beach, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't ever think I would be able to live at the beach. So living 8-minute drive from the beach in California was profound. And then I thought, well, maybe I can live where I can see the beach or walk to the beach. And that happened when I moved to Playa del Carmen. And now I live on the beach. And this is all happened because I just keep taking a step towards what I want, but there was never any pressure towards it. Because honestly, my inner fears said, yeah, you don't deserve it. You can't have it. Now, what was the guilt problem? Well, I knew that I loved it, but then my programming said, you don't deserve it. So therefore, I was keeping myself from most of the time from something that makes me feel good. So all of you know, you feel good in the mountains, you feel good with trees, or you feel good on the beach, or you feel good in London, or what is it for you? Okay, I also love London, I love Paris, I love San Francisco. So I would have to do a little bit there and most of my time at the beach now, but at another time in my life, there was a different combination. So this is where opening to your communication, asking for the guidance, trusting what comes up, trying it out. Go on a trip, try a place out, rent an Airbnb for a month or a week, somewhere you think you might like. Maybe you'll get the healing you needed and you no longer need to go to that place. You might be on a journey. This is best for me, and then this is best for me. All right. I didn't have any clue I was going to end up in Mexico, fall in love with it, and live where I do right now. In fact, I'd never even heard of the place where I live right now. And it unfolded over the last 4 years. And that moving out of the country unfolded for certain reasons. And some of them look terrible and some of them look good. So this is where being in the moment and following the path. Be an adventure. Be on a journey. Now, on that journey is where your collaborators are, is where your tribe is. So when you sit in one place and try to attract your tribe, it's really difficult. But when you get into motion and movement and flow, right? You get into conversations, you take a class, like the classes I teach, we do the journeys or whatever this, the soul stars, getting to your higher self and the pineal awakening, or the releasing yourself from patterns. But then we talk and we communicate and we have these deep conversations. And this is as profound sometimes, right? And you feel like, oh, I have that. I don't know where your community is, honey, because it's everywhere and it's changing in a moment to moment. Give yourself the honor of being able to say, in this moment, I need a nurturing tribe. I was part of a goddess group that for years was the most powerful thing I could have ever needed. It nurtured me after my daughter died in a way I had never been nurtured. I felt safe. I felt fed because I was not good at receiving. I didn't feel worthy, and I had guilt that it was all my fault, and I deserved to lose my daughter, and all those inner fears. So that community was absolutely the optimal place for me at that time. And then as I gained my power back, we didn't vibe anymore. I love the rituals of the spring and the seed planting and tuning into the nature. I love the concepts. But the people and I didn't resonate anymore. As I gained my power, they didn't like it. Turned out they liked nurturing people who were weak. And they turned and took another little wounded bird in their wing. And I didn't feel like I belonged. And suddenly I realized it's time for me to fly the nest. Right? I didn't move at the time, but I started working and being and friends deeper with one particular woman who was super powerful and strong. We would do amazing spiritual work together. And then that led to something else. And then that led to something else. So your tribe, there's been many times on your spiritual path, you're not going to be able to see your full tribe. Right? It's going to be hard to find them. You're going to feel alone. And I'll tell you a secret. It's not really, I think I shared this the other day, but I used to feel like I go fast, and I do. I like change, and I go fast, and I keep moving. And I used to be really push, 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 and now I'm going with the flow. It's just not worth it to push it. Believe me, I'm too old for that. And not from exhaustion. I'm healthier and stronger than I've been in years, but it's from, oh, I don't want to go down that energy. If I force it, it won't go the right direction. And then it'll just be a big tangled mess. I don't want to untangle. So in the meantime, I felt like I went so fast. This was before the internet. There was no spiritual people around me. I had no one to talk to. It was so hard to find somebody who resonated with what I did. There was one tiny little metaphysical bookstore, right? And many of you might have felt this way. We were wandering in the darkness trying to figure out, are we making this up? Is there anything real going on here? And then luckily I found my mystery schools, and I went to Egypt, and I had these profound experiences. And then I'd come home and it would be just me and my kids, and nobody was there. So your tribe is something, again, you have to let go of needing it and be receptive and accepting to it. How it's going to come, who and what is ready for you. And when time goes, don't be attached to someone or something. Be like, oh, wow, I don't resonate with that anymore, at least right now. So I'm honoring my feeling and I'm not worrying it. Your collaborators are the same thing. So when you do everything we've talked about today and you cleanse and clear and open, you will start to communicate more. You will see your collaborators or your soulmates. You'll see your next opportunity. You'll feel. Chris and I are like constantly amazed that we ended up where we did. We moved without thought of, pandemics or political things or other things happening. And yet we look up, something would happen and we go, oh my gosh, we're in the perfect place because we listened within. I was in Playa del Carmen, absolutely loved Playa del Carmen. Going back there next week for my anniversary. I love Playa del Carmen. And we had this epic place and we looked out over the ocean, and it was just like, people were like, how could you leave this? Because something inside of us was saying, I think it's time to move, but I didn't know where. So instead of grasping at it, I just started to say, where else could I live on the beach? I want to live on the beach. And my mind wandered geographically, and then I would do some research and I would look at houses to rent and I would see what's the story in these places, and it would start to put energy, and then I'd go through my life and I'd do a little more. And when it came to it, I'm still amazed. We left before our lease was up, and they were happy for us to do that. It was no problem. But we were coveted that place. We weren't going to let anyone else get it, right? But we left because we felt guided. And we came over here across the Yucatan, and where the rent is cheaper. You could live in a house versus an apartment, and it's safer, and just like all these things, a lot of things we didn't even know. We just felt drawn here, so we listened. We've stayed in, 15 different places over here. So we really tried a lot of places to see what it is we like. What do we know about this area? We're going to the pyramids, going to places, having that experience. And then what happened was 5 weeks after we arrived here, Chris had a seizure, and I'm talking a serious seizure. He's still recovering. It's nearly 2 years later, and it broke down our entire reality. Everything changed. All my retreats stopped. I couldn't work for a while. That whole year was like having a newborn in the house, and our whole life is dictated by this reality. And when you look at it and say, we couldn't have been in Playa del Carmen, it's too noisy. With him the way he is now, he's oversensitive. Somehow we listened to that inner guidance and it brought us over here. We're somewhere quiet. We're somewhere that's like the medical capital of the universe here, practically. You know, we're somewhere where all of these things lined up. And we didn't know that's why we moved. We just listened and trusted and took the next step and took the next step and took the next step. All right. So 5 weeks before, he couldn't have handled the move. It was, you know, all this stuff. He couldn't have handled the many times we moved different houses. So when you align, you know. Now, I want to write grace. I want to close with this. You're writing a spiritual book and you don't know if it's better to self-publish on Amazon or try to find a literary agent, and you're looking for help. So pretty much everything I've said is what I want you to do. I want you to think about this book as a piece, a gift, an energy that you have filled with energy, right? It has a specific message. It has a specific healing. It is perfect for certain people. It is not for everybody. It's not for every literary agent. I personally would put it on Amazon, and then don't think that people are going to buy it just by putting it on Amazon. They don't. You have to go out and you have to talk about it. You have to share it with people. You have to ask them to buy it. Then you can go look for a literary agent if you feel called. But before you do anything, I want you to tune in to yourself, your higher self, and your book. Your book is an entity, whether it's finished on paper or it's still within you. And we published people for a long time. I've helped many authors through it. I've written a lot of books. And I can tell you, it is like a baby. It is like something that you are putting your energy into it. What is the intention of it? You need to surround it with love. You need to give it that environment to thrive. And you need to make sure that the energy in the book isn't hooked to any fear and anything else. And then ask that the optimal way for me to give this gift to the world, to find the people that are optimal for it, appear to me clearly now. I'm ready and willing, open and receptive. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody, so much. I want to make sure that we somehow get all of these. Sadly, YouTube does not put these up. Wow, synchronicity, Romero says. Lindsay said, thank you. That makes sense about the tribe and community. Autumn says, I really appreciate your answers. Unfortunately, I have to leave, but you'll finish watching later. No problem. Mahalo for the reminders. I appreciated it. Nora said it was beautiful. Angie, oh my gosh. This is what I needed. It's so great to see and hear you. Oh, my honey. I love you. 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 Angie is one of the most special people to me and the whole entire planet. And we have something very, very special in common. I'm not going to mention it. Maybe she'll give me permission later what it is, but thank you, sweetie. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I'm so glad that you came and we got to share some space together. How incredible is that? So let's take a second and say, thank you, thank you, thank you for this space, for this moment, for this incredible opportunity to come together in this infinity healing chamber. Thank you to our higher selves, our body elementals, and our I am presence. Thank you to the Light Body Healing Council and to everyone who has come into the space to share this information for the healing, the releasing, and the revealing. May this space be open yet unbroken for anyone who wishes to return to receive. May this information go out into the world and be there for those who open and are ready. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, namaste, everyone. I have an appointment to move to now, but what I want to do is say thank you so much, and I'm going to take the rest of the questions. Hopefully I can keep them, and oh, good, looks like I got them. And I'm going to make some more videos of it. Maybe I'll do another live one with them. Maybe I'll make little short ones answering each question and start putting them out on YouTube. So if you email us, if you go to nanakasha.com and get on the list, or you go to support, email support@nanakasha.com, you can email questions, you can ask questions, and you can also be aware when we're doing the next one of these. So let's see. Next week, we'll do another thing. Lindsay, thank you. Green, thanks for your generous heart. Oh, thank you, Pumpkin. Thank you. Love and blessings to all, Sandra said. Thank you. Angie, biggest hugs. I love you so much too, baby. Romero, I'm going to start crying. Thank you, Romero. You, Madalena, I love your name. Thank you so much. Such a great energy. Nora, thank you, and lots of kisses. Thanks, everybody. I did. Thanks, honey. And we will see you on the next time. Namaste. Akasha here. I hope that you will join me again next time, or perhaps get a meditation or join a class or join the Goddess Sanctuary. And I look forward to seeing you. In the meantime, take this beautiful energy out and think about what the energy is you're giving into your day. Bye.